When you're thinking through your fleet strategy for line haul, there are a few key factors to consider. The first and the most important is determining whether you want to lease or own your fleet. And there are pros and cons to each option. So let's look at the leasing strategy first. And here I'm referring to the full service leasing model, in which you are leasing these vehicles for a set period of time, and at the end of the lease, you'll turn that truck in and start over with a new leased vehicle. These will also cover all of your repair and maintenance costs, and they'll provide rental and recovery options when your vehicles break down. There are lots of options here on the vendor side: Ryder, Penske, Gator, lots of others. This is the strategy we found that makes your fleet strategy very predictable and handles most problems, and it's the one that we used and felt was most effective for our fleet in the line haul space. But there are important caveats to take into account. First, if your runs are not doing enough mileage every week, then the lease typically isn't worth it. Solo runs need to do at least 2,200 miles a week, and team runs need to do at least 4,300 miles a week. Additionally, the leases are generally just a more expensive option. You're paying for the peace of mind and for a large corporation to help you manage your fleet. For many operators, that peace of mind is worth it. For some, it's not. The last important note is that not all leases are transferable. Some leasing companies will be resistant to a new buyer taking over the lease, so you may need the seller to be a co-guarantor on the lease, which again isn't always an option. It's important to talk the lease transfer process through as you're going through due diligence on purchasing one of these. The other main option for your fleet is to own your fleet. Whether you finance them through a bank or purchase them outright, they will be your vehicles to run, service, and handle any maintenance issues that come up. Now, these vehicles can go up to 1 million miles, sometimes even more, but we often found that selling the trucks at around 500,000 miles was the best strategy. That allows you to get some of the best years out of the truck, then turn around and sell it to recover a residual value. At that point, you can buy a new vehicle to replace it. There are other ways to keep the higher mileage vehicles in service. You could have a good mechanic in the area or on staff, or you could shift those higher mileage vehicles to your low mile runs like spot runs. That way they're still generating value for you even if they aren't running your high mileage premium runs. Although there is a more complex and involved repair and replacement strategy compared to leases, there are some important positives as well. The first is that you will get depreciation that can be used to offset your taxes each year. For some, that is the most important consideration. Additionally, if you're replacing your fleet consistently, you'll often have warranties covering most, if not all, of the useful years of the vehicle. Crucially, you'll want at least some of your vehicles to be owned, even if your fleet strategy is least focused. You want your spare vehicles or your vehicles that are running really low mileage to be owned because they won't be doing enough consistent mileage to justify a lease. As you can see, there are different strategies, and it can come down to choosing the best for the specific business that you're looking at. We review businesses and fleets every day, so if you have questions about what the best fleet strategy is for your current or potential business, just reach out and we can talk you through all the details.